So what I've been getting a lot lately is a lot of people are calling me because they decided to work for themselves or finally chase their dreams and open up that small business. But what comes with that is their benefits. A lot of people either don't do it because they're scared to figure out what benefits are going to look like outside of that employer, or they do and they're really confused now of what's available to them because oftentimes the HR does it for them. So now you're kind of doing it on your own. So I wanted to go over how to get insurance on your own if you're a self-employed individual, or if you own a small business, or if you work for a really small company. There are a lot of like money saving tips out there that you probably don't know that exist. So I wanted to go over that. And I'm going to go over that as a licensed health insurance agent. I'm seeing a lot of videos on here from people that aren't licensed agents, and they have nothing to lose by giving you wrong advice. So I wanted to come on here and let you know what's available. So the first way of getting health insurance, if you're a small business owner or you're self-employed, or you work for a small business, the first popular way that I see people go to is the marketplace. You may hear people refer to it as Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, ACA plans. So the marketplace was created for two different reasons. Affordability, so for people that are either low income or get a government subsidy, maybe you had a lot of tax write-offs that year, so it'd be a good year to maybe get marketplace. Or pre-existing conditions. So it was to solve those two pain points. So if you don't have a pre-existing condition, or if you're not sure you do, it's always a good question to ask an agent. So if you don't have one of those, or you're not low income, then that's probably not the right option for you. It is good for those people that have one of those two things. The pros and cons to that is they take, so a pro is they take everybody. So you don't have to worry about going through an underwriting process if you do have a medical condition. And then one of the cons is they're going to limit you on where you can get care. So they're going to give you a list of doctors and hospitals that you can see. So they're going to dictate where you can get your care. So you have to stay within network, and there are no out-of-network benefits on those plans. Still might be okay if you have a big network in that area, but that is why it's important to work with a professional. Another way of getting insurance, if you don't meet that criteria, or if you want to get a preferred nationwide PPO plan, what PPO means is a preferred provider organization. That's what it stands for. That means you can go to any doctor, any hospital, anywhere in the country. Those private plans do require underwriting. So sometimes, depending on your health, sometimes it is not the right option. But you can apply for a preferred plan. It's kind of like saying like, hey, I'm a really good driver. Can I get a good rate on my auto insurance? And similar to your health, I'm in pretty good health. Can I apply and get a preferred plan? Oftentimes those rates are lower, and they have a larger network of doctors and hospitals you can see. But if you're not sure if you have a pre-existing condition or not, that's a good question to ask a professional as well. But pros is you can go get care anywhere you like. Cons is you do have to apply. There's an application process for those plans. But oftentimes those are created for somebody that is self-employed or small business. Another way of getting insurance is, or it's a different type of plan, is there is a thing called a supplemental plan or ancillary. So you can either do like an accident plan. Now I recommend everybody to get a supplemental or ancillary protection. I recommend everyone to get that, even if you work for a big employer, because a lot of those extra plans are very affordable, and they're going to help pay some of those deductibles. So for an example, if you had a broken bone or a muscle tear or stitches, some of you may know I had a big tear in my knee recently, and I had extra accident protection, and that paid for a lot of my physical therapy, and it paid for my deductible. So I wasn't that much out of pocket. And that plan for me, based off of my age and gender, is an extra $40 per month, and it was worth it for the amount that it paid for me when I did need to use it. There are cancer policies out there. There's all types of short-term disability plans or hospital indemnity plans that are really good for mirrored with a medical plan, or put together with a medical plan that's going to help protect you as well. Another way of getting protection is something that's called direct to primary care. So that what that means, or DPC. So what that means is you get a membership with a primary care facility. Now I've had people that are insured and still want to get that membership because oftentimes they're very affordable. So what that means is when you get that membership, it often covers like doctor's visits and a lot of your preventative care. It has that type of protection, and then you consistently see a lot of the same doctors. That is not insurance. So if you had a big major medical event, that's for basic stuff. So you would still need protection for catastrophic. If there's a stroke or heart attack, that direct to primary care is not going to cover that. So you would still need some sort of medical plan to go along with that membership program. Another way of, or another type of insurance is short-term insurance. Now I recommend anytime you do short-term insurance to ask a professional, ask a licensed agent, because they are very tricky. They oftentimes will come in 3, 6 month or year terms. So if you're getting a 3-month term, for an example, and you get diagnosed with something month 2, when it comes on that 3rd month, since you now have a pre-existing condition according to those short-term plans, they will drop coverage and then you're completely exposed without insurance. So that's where you hear those horror stories when people say, but I had insurance, how come I'm in filing bankruptcy for medical debt? A lot of times it's because they thought they had insurance, the insurance company dropped them and they're no longer covered. So that's why it's important on those. They're tricky, but they can still be beneficial if sometimes somebody's in between opportunities or they're in between jobs or something like that. Another way of getting insurance is if you are leaving an employer and you need an extension of coverage. There's a thing called COBRA. That's an extension of your employer group coverage. It lasts typically about 18 months. It's going to be the same plan that you had before, but oftentimes, since you're not getting it subsidized by your employer, oftentimes it's double the price plus an admin fee. So that may or may not be the right option. I would not necessarily recommend for somebody that's going to go into business for themselves long term. I'd recommend for them to get something that is going to last them long term. But if the same thing, if they're in between opportunities, COBRA might be a good fit, especially if they are going through medical treatment. It may be a good fit then as well. The last thing with getting or the last type of insurance or program, so it's not insurance, sorry, the last program is a Christian sharing program. Now, I never recommend to get that by itself, ever. I recommend to look up some of the lawsuits that some of them are currently going through. It is a sharing program that you share with other shareholders. And at the end of every month, they look at all of the accumulated expenses and see what they can afford to pay based off of everyone's shares. So that's why it can leave you exposed, but they do small claims really well sometimes. So if somebody needs like extra maternity coverage, one of those sharing programs might be really good with a medical plan. The last thing that I wanted to talk about was some money saving tips. So if you're getting a procedure done, like say you need like a colonoscopy and you don't have a membership program or anything like that, and it's going to cost you some money out of pocket, there's a thing called MD Save that you can look up. It's a website you can go to and it'll let you know customary amounts in certain facilities around you, so they're a little bit more transparent. That's a good way of getting figuring out which procedures are going to cost what in your area. Or if you need prescription drug benefit, there's Prescription Hope that can give you some protection there that will help save some money. And then there's GoodRx as well. It's an app or a website you can go to and find different prescriptions. But that's all I have. Feel free to reach out. Anyone from my team can help answer any questions anyone has.